There is a difference. One light in this dark world that the world rails against. Jesus called the religious leaders, whether they be on YouTube or in pulpits or whatever, hypocrites. The people were divided about him. They said, the religious people said, you shouldn't listen to him. The pastors said, you shouldn't listen to him. They said he is demon possessed and raving mad. Why listen to him? And there was an opposition between Jesus and the religious establishment, just as there is an opposition between Jesus and the religious establishment today. If you fail to see the opposition, you'll fail to see Christianity. If you take the opposition and take the side of the religious leaders, you are taking the side of hypocrisy. Jesus said, beware of the teaching of the Pharisees, the religious leaders, which is hypocrisy. If you rail against hypocrisy, then I do too. If you don't know the message, then I've got something that you don't have. They said these are not the. They said this is not the words of a man possessed by a demon. These are not the words of a man demon possessed. Raving mad, they said. Unacceptable, they said. When somebody told their story, Jesus gave them sight, which is what we're talking about here, sight. The religious leaders said, you were entirely steeped in sin from birth, and you lecture us? Does that sound familiar? If you don't, I'd advise you to sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and think about, write down, take notes about what's going on YouTube. Because whatever somebody calls themselves, whether it's Christian or not, I see a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion. And on the whole, I see people not interested in clearing up that confusion. So, you can't say God didn't give you a chance. But the people were divided about Jesus. Are the people divided? Some said he was good. He is good. Others said, no, he deceives the people. If you can't see that kind of passion involved in the YouTube dialogue, which is inferior to face-to-face in many respects. If you can't see in the YouTube dialogue where there is an opposition on, let's say, an occlusion of the accepted religious from Jesus on YouTube, then there's no truth. The saying goes, I forget the name of the person who said it, the truth is first violently opposed, or the truth is first ridiculed, then violently opposed, then accepted as self-evident. People are born blind. Well, pretty much, more or less. Pretty much most of their lives they live in ignorance, and they die blind. If you don't see an affrontal to the established religious leadership, i.e. Pat Robertson, John Hagee, and other hypocrites, James Dobson, yoke up, the biggies are basically, especially in this climate, always going to be the hypocrites. The establishment, as far as religion, you can talk about government too, but religion is always going to be wrong. Always going to be wrong. Anytime something is codified, measured, put in a test tube, which is what we're seeing on YouTube, it's wrong. You know, you get married, you get married, which is my next step in my personal life. You have a baby. Do you put, you don't put that baby in a test tube. I hope you don't. I mean, hope you let that child be who he or she is. Yet we've done that with religion. And yes, I will say, there is punishment for what people do wrong. And I will say that people prefer and like confusion. It's as if somebody's trying to bust their door down and they want to block the door. Because they're afraid. You can hold up the religious writings and say, I've got these. What Jesus said, those are the ones that speak of me, yet you refuse to come to me that you'll have life.